Welcome to the HFY Tales channel. Remember to like and subscribe if you like the story. Enjoy and take care.
The stars twinkled like the scattered diamonds on an infinite black canvas, each one whispering tales of adventure and longing. David stood on the observation deck of the SS Horizon, his heart racing with anticipation as the sleek spaceship began its descent toward the planet Dhiron. It was a world renowned for its beauty and the rich tapestry of cultures thrumming within its atmosphere. This was no ordinary mission. It was a chance to learn, to experience, and possibly, if fate was kind, love. The ship touched down, and as the doors opened, the overwhelming scent of vibrant alien flora filled the air. David stepped onto solid ground for the first time, taking in a landscape bursting with colors he had only dreamed of. The iridescent hues of purple and gold rivers winding through lush emerald forests, dotted with towering fungal structures that defied explanation. The Thyronian sun hung low on the horizon, casting long shadows that danced to the rhythm of the wind. David was on assignment to document the mating rituals of various alien species, a task he welcomed with open arms, but also with the weight of responsibility. Humans had finally reached a point where engaging with other species was not merely about war and dominance, but about understanding and acceptance. He had always been an advocate for intercultural connections, and his heart ached with excitement. As he joined the throng of visitors and scholars at the cultural exchange, he couldn't shake the sense of being an outsider looking in, a feeling that transformed when his eyes landed on her. Zale was a sight to behold. Towering over most beings in the crowded room, her physique was a remarkable blend of grace and strength. Her skin was a rich, deep azure, shimmering with bioluminescent patterns that shifted softly, reflecting her emotions. Even from a distance, David felt drawn to her, as if some magnetic force was pulling him closer. But it was her eyes, vast pools of liquid silver, that captivated him. They held galaxies of stories untold, yet there was caution in her gaze as she observed the mingling crowd. David's heart ached at the sight of her discomfort. He could see the tension in the way her shoulders drew back, defensive and wary. As he approached her, intent on introducing himself, he stumbled over a few words before finally managing to say, "Hi, I'm David. I'm here to learn more about the Dhiron culture." Zale's expression was unreadable, a mixture of curiosity and apprehension. "I am called Zale," she replied, her voice a deep, melodic sound that thrummed through him. "You seek to understand us." "I do," he replied, surprising himself with the depth of sincerity in his voice. "I want to know about your customs, especially relating to mating." She stiffened slightly, and he noticed how her eyes darkened, hints of vulnerability flashing behind her strong exterior. "Mating rituals are sacred. You would not understand," Zale murmured, almost to herself, skepticism lacing her words. David felt a rush of determination. "Try me. I want to understand the realities, not just the rehearsed stories. I want to know you, who you are beyond this moment." A heavy silence stretched between them. Zale's gaze flicked between the humans around her and David's earnest expression. She hesitated, then let out a soft, almost inaudible sigh. "It is not as simple as that, human. My body is too big, too powerful. I am not fit to breed." David interjected softly. He felt a pang at those words, sensing the pain they held. "You are more than that. I see strength, beauty, and a whole lot more I want to explore." Zale's expression faltered for a moment before her defenses kicked back in, a faint furrow forming on her brow. "Do not pity me. You are curious about the exotic. I am merely a creature of my kind against your human ideals." The tension in the air thickened, electric with uncertainty. Yet between the two of them, a connection flickered, fragile, but real. David sought not just to document her culture, but to break through the walls built from years of fear and misunderstandings. "What if we explored together?" he proposed carefully, gauging her reaction. "I can show you my world as I learn about yours. Perhaps then, you might see yourself through different eyes." Zale chewed her lower lip, appraising David with a mixture of interest and caution. It was an offer laden with hidden meanings, but one that hinted at the adventures that lay ahead. Little did they both know, This simple exchange would be the turning point that shattered the boundaries of their worlds, leading them down a path of discovery, acceptance, and something far greater than both had imagined. The tension between David and Zale lingered like charged particles in the air, thick yet brimming with potential. As the cultural exchange festivities continued around them, David felt a sense of urgency build within him. He was determined to peel back the layers of Zale's guarded exterior and discover the soul hidden beneath. Over the following days, they spent more time together, guided by a mutual curiosity and a shared exclusion from the bustling crowd. Their conversations flowed from awkward introductions to deeper musings about identity, belonging, and their innate differences. One afternoon, as they strolled through the vibrant gardens of the Thyron colony, Zale looked up at David, her expressive eyes shimmering in the dappled sunlight. "You ask many questions about my people, yet you do not share much about yours. What is it that you humans truly seek when you mate?" David paused, struck by her directness. "For us," he began, searching for the right words, "mating is not just a physical act. It's about connection, intimacy, finding someone who understands you and accepts you for who you are." Zale tilted her head, her interest piqued. "Mating for my kind is ritualistic, often governed by instinct and societal expectations. It is not about connection, it is duty." "Then there's so much more to explore," David replied softly. "What if you allowed yourself to connect with someone beyond those duties?" For a fleeting moment, Zale's guarded demeanor faltered again. But before she could respond, the sound of celebratory music from the festival echoed through the gardens, and Zale's expression shifted back to one of restraint. "Come," she said, the urgency in her voice palpable. "You must witness a rite of my people." The atmosphere changed around them as they joined the festivities. Zale led him to a clearing where a gathering of Thyronians had formed, their bodies intertwined in hypnotic dances that dazzled the eye. Bioluminescent patterns pulsed from skin to skin, igniting the night with vibrant energy. David was captivated by the display, but he saw Zale's uncomfortable stance on the edge of the crowd, her focus on the ground rather than the swirling bodies. "Zale," he called out, drawing closer. "This looks amazing. Why don't you join them?" She shook her head, her expression grim. "I am not like them. My body, my size separates me. I do not fit the ideal." "Forget the ideal," David said, his words more fervent than he intended. "You are beautiful as you are strong. Please don't let what others think stop you from enjoying this." With hesitant steps, Zale approached the dancers. David's heart raced as he watched her, the way the other Thyronians seemed to instinctively form an allowance for her presence, recognizing her strength. For a brief moment, her graceful movements harmonized with the melodic beats, and David caught a glimpse of who she truly was, a warrior concealed beneath layers of doubt. But as the dance continued, David could see her falter, her eyes glancing at the crowd, always measuring herself against the others. He took a step forward, feeling a surge of courage. With a gentle yet bold voice, he called out, "Zale, dance with me, as humans do." The laughter and energy of the others died down as they turned their attention to him. Zale hesitated, a myriad of emotions crossing her face. Was it anxiety? Fear? Perhaps excitement? "You would gallivant through the dance as a human?" she asked, incredulity slipping through her facade. "Why not? I'm here to explore your world, remember? And I'm not bound by the rules of your culture," he replied, grinning. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, a slow smile cracked across Zale's face. "Very well, David. I will dance." With that, she stepped into the center of the clearing beside him. Laughter erupted once more, this time filled with encouragement. David extended his hand to her, and she took it, a warmth enveloping their connection. As they began to dance, David felt an overwhelming sense of liberation. Zale's movements were powerful and graceful, resonating with the rhythm of the music. Every twirl, every step seemed to echo her struggle to embrace herself, and through David, she discovered joy in the freedom of self-expression. Engulfed in the moment, David whispered, "See, you belong here. You are radiant." Zale's smile deepened, and in that instant, a bond forged through vulnerability began to bloom. Yet, amidst the swirling exhilaration of dance, there remained an undercurrent of reality woven into the strands of their connection. As the night wore on, Zale's laughter faded, replaced by an unshakable anxiety about what lay ahead. Though they laughed and spun under the starlit sky, doubts crept in, her belief that she was not fit to breed, the fear of what a joining of their worlds could truly mean. And somewhere amidst the celebration, both of them silently questioned whether the connection they were forging was strong enough to bridge the chasm between their fears and aspirations. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the festivities began to fade into whispers, leaving only echoes of laughter and the glowing embers of camaraderie still crackling in the air. David observed Zale, who stood slightly apart from the now winding down throng, the light from the bioluminescent plants casting an ethereal glow on her striking features. Despite the joy she'd shown earlier, a shadow had returned to her expression. "Are you all right?" he ventured, stepping closer. She shifted her gaze to him, the silver of her eyes reflecting the stars. "I enjoyed the dance, but I am not so easily swayed by delight. My people will always hold weighty expectations over me, especially because of my size. I cannot simply ignore them." David felt a pang in his chest. He knew the burden of expectations well, despite their differences. The societal norms were often stifling, but if anyone could break free from those chains, it was Zale. "You're more than what others perceive. You have to believe that." Zale offered a bittersweet smile, one that pierced through David's heart. "Beliefs are often shaped by reality. Even now, as I stand next to you, I feel like a giant among shadows. I do not fit within the realm of your ideals, nor within my own." "Let me show you otherwise," he insisted, his voice steady. "Let's break down those barriers together, one step at a time. You define yourself, not society." Her eyes flickered with curiosity, but the weight of uncertainty still anchored her. "What you say is easy in words, human, but to live it requires strength that I fear I do not possess." David reached for her hand, gentle yet firm, grounding her. "You've already shown immense strength just by daring to dance tonight. It starts with small acts of defiance against the towering expectations. What you're feeling is part of your journey, and I can stand by you as you find your way." Zale's expression softened as she looked down at their intertwined fingers. For a moment, he thought he glimpsed hope shining through her insecurities. "You would stay by my side." "Absolutely," he assured. "If we're going to explore each other's worlds, I'm all in." The brief silence between them held the promise of collaboration and healing. It was a moment suspended in time, but the evening's festivities pulled back away into reality, an invisible cord tugging at them to keep moving forward, even as they sought solace in the now. As days turned into weeks, David found himself surrounded by the various complexities of Thyron's culture, continuously deepening his understanding of Zale's world. He accompanied her during rituals, engaged in discussions about beliefs and fears, and began to view the contrasting facets of alien life through her eyes. One morning, they ventured to a tranquil lagoon, a sprawling body of water glistening with hues of turquoise and azure. This place was a calm oasis, a stark contrast to the swirling complexities of society they were both part of. David proposed they take some time to simply exist in the moment. Sitting on the shore, looking out over the shimmering water, Zale shared delicate memories of her childhood, days spent exploring and playing with friends, free before the weight of maturity and expectations settled upon her. "I miss those moments," she confessed, her voice wrapped in nostalgia. "I was unburdened by lineage and duty. Now, every choice feels preordained. Your past doesn't define you. It can guide you, sure, but it doesn't limit who you are or who you can become," David encouraged. She turned to him, a flicker of hope igniting in her eyes. "What if I wanted to create my own path? A path that intertwines your world and mine?" David's heart raced at her words. "Then we'll make it together. We'll blend our cultures and create something new, something that belongs to us. You can shape the future, Zale." In that moment, a wave of possibility surged between them, infusing the air with a charged energy. For the first time, they both sensed the magnitude of real potential in their connection. It was no longer about documenting a culture, but about forging a bond capable of challenging misconceptions. Yet, as the sun dipped lower in the sky, a weight settled over Zale's expression once more, as if the realities of her life were quick to catch up with her. What if we fail, David? Then we'll find another way. But the journey is worth the risk, he replied earnestly, his grip tightening around her hand. Let's explore together. Slowly, Zale drew in a deep breath. I want that, she murmured, the vulnerability in her voice unmistakable. But there is still a part of me that fears what my kind would say. They may never accept a union between us. Then let that be our challenge. We'll face them together, he encouraged with a smile, leaning closer. Let's rewrite the narrative. With her heart racing, Zale studied David, a human who dared to reach out to her, to understand her beyond the surface. In those moments, she felt the crack of her insecurities begin to shatter, revealing a bravery that long lay dormant. As they exchanged hopes and dreams, the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky with streaks of orange and purple. Two beings from different worlds, venturing into uncharted territory, both knowing that love had the power to transcend even the most entrenched expectations. The air crackled with anticipation as David and Zale walked hand in hand through the sprawling marketplace of the Thyron colony. Brightly colored stalls lined the pathways, showcasing intricate textiles, otherworldly fruits, and artifacts that whispered stories of generations past. The atmosphere buzzed with jubilant voices and laughter, a rich tapestry of sound that enveloped them both. David marveled at the vibrant chaos, yet his gaze often returned to Zale. She moved through the crowd with newfound confidence, though David noticed the flickers of anxiety that crossed her features as they passed groups of her people. He could sense that despite her outward appearance of strength, the roots of doubt still ran deep. Isn't it amazing? David said, trying to ease the tension in the air. Every corner offers something new. Zale forced a smile, but it faltered under the weight of her surroundings. Yes, but among this splendor lies the scrutiny of my kind. I cannot help but feel the weight of their gazes upon us. Let them watch, David encouraged gently. What matters is what we choose to create together, not what they think. Just as he spoke, a group of Thyronian women approached, their bioluminescent skin shimmering under the midday sun. David recognized the prominent ones. They were the elders, respected figures within their community. He felt a knot form in his stomach. The elders valued tradition over individualism. Zale stiffened beside him, her grip tightening around his hand. David, before either could retreat, the eldest among them stepped forward, her gaze piercing. Zale, daughter of Aaron, what is this you bring to us? A human? David felt the weight of judgment in her tone, and he stepped forward, determined to assert himself. I am David, a human interested in learning about your culture and ways. The elder regarded him critically, her expression inscrutable. Learning can come with a price. You tread on sacred grounds that do not belong to you. Zale flinched at the words, her defenses building as the elders exchanged glances. This is a journey of understanding, not appropriation. David seeks to know us, she interjected, frustration creeping into her voice. And yet, he must understand that his presence here alters the very essence of our traditions, the elder countered, her tone unwavering. What unity could come from a being so different from ours? The tension escalated as Zale's expression hardened. You misunderstand. Love is not bound by our skin or our customs. It is about transformation, how two beings can uplift one another beyond societal norms. Is that your wish? The elder scrutinized Zale, and David could feel the collective weight of the elders' skepticism pressing down on my shoulders. To form a bond with a mere human? It is not mere. He is strong and honest, far more than I could have imagined. Zale's voice rose, fueled by defiance. I see myself through his eyes, not as a vessel to be molded by expectation. You cannot force me into a box merely to satisfy tradition. The statement hung heavy in the air, leaving a silence that felt charged with latent energy. David felt pride swelling in his chest at Zale's boldness. She stood fiercely against the very pillars of her society, openly challenging the norm. But the elder remained unyielding. And what of the consequences, Zale? Are you prepared to bear the burden of breaking the bonds of tradition? Zale hesitated, the weight of the elder's words pressing down upon her. For so long, she had yearned for liberation, yet fear of rejection lingered like a shadow. She turned to David, searching his eyes for reassurance. "I am willing," David affirmed, his voice steady. "If we are to face this together, I won't let you bear the consequences alone. We will forge our own path." The elders exchanged glances once more, their expressions stern. "Then be prepared, Zale," the eldest warned. "Every choice has a cost, and the path you tread will not be easy." With her resolve faint but growing, Zale inhaled deeply. "I understand, but I refuse to abandon the potential of our connection just because it does not fit the mold of what many deem acceptable." "Then navigate the storm that awaits you," the elder finally concluded, stepping back. "You know where to find us when you wish to embrace tradition once more." As the group turned to leave, David sensed a mixture of fear and empowerment coursing through Zale. She gazed at their retreating figures, the elder's warning echoing in her mind. "What have we done, David?" "Nothing except stand for what we believe in," he replied softly. "Change is never easy, especially in the face of tradition. But together, we'll face whatever comes next." Zale looked up at him, vulnerability laced with newfound determination swirling within her. "I want to fight for this, for us. Can you really endure whatever may come our way?" David cupped her face in his hands, stealing a moment to appreciate her beauty and the fierce spirit within her. "As long as I have you by my side, I can endure anything. We will find strength in each other, and I promise you, no shadow will keep us apart." With those words, Zale felt her heart begin to heal, the fracture slowly mending as fear fell away. She vowed to embrace the uncertain path ahead, with David unwaveringly beside her. Their journey toward true acceptance was only beginning, and as they departed from the marketplace, they did so as allies against the tides of expectation. Together, they would confront the complexities of societal norms, redefine what love meant, and, most importantly, transform their worlds into a union worth fighting for. The days that followed their confrontation with the elders felt both exhilarating and daunting. Zale and David found themselves at the forefront of a cultural shift, the ripple effects of their bold choices reverberating through the Thyronian community. Whispers of their growing bond surged like a current, intertwining with both support and skepticism, a duality that would only intensify their resolve. With each passing day, Zale's confidence blossomed. She took David deeper into the heart of her world, sharing her experiences, her hopes, and the intricacies of Thyronian life. They spent afternoons weaving through the lush forests, learning about the flora and fauna unique to Thyron, and evenings under the stars, their conversations intertwining like the constellations above. One evening, while the sun set in a brilliant explosion of colors, David and Zale settled at the edge of a cliff overlooking the sea. The waves crashed rhythmically against the rocks below, and for a moment they sat in peaceful silence, contemplating their adventure together. "Can you hear it?" Zale asked, a soft smile playing on her lips as she closed her eyes, soaking in the sounds of the ocean. "The way it crashes against the rocks, like the resolve of our hearts battling against the waves of expectation." David regarded her, fascinated by the depth of her perspective. "It's beautiful, just like you. Our differences don't diminish who we are. They make us stronger." Zale turned to him, her silver eyes shining brightly. "You make it so easy to believe in ourselves, David. But with the good comes the fear, you know. What if this connection crumbles under the weight of tradition?" He took her hand, interlocking their fingers. "Then we rebuild it. Together, we'll face whatever storms come our way. Let our bond be the anchor that holds us steady." A flicker of apprehension crossed Zale's face, and David understood. "How do I know you won't change your mind once it gets hard?" she asked softly. David felt his heart tighten at her vulnerability. "Because I'm not the kind of person who backs away from a fight. I want to share my life with you, not just the easy parts. So long as we're honest, we can navigate anything." Zale's gaze softened, contemplating his words. "Honesty, yes, that is vital, even with the doubts I carry." Just then, the horizon glowed as the dual moons began to rise, painting the sky with silver and blue hues. David turned to her, feeling a sudden rush of determination. "Why don't we create something?" "What do you mean?" Zale asked, intrigued. "Let's host a cultural exchange of our own. A gathering where we can invite both humans and Thyronians to witness the beauty of blending our worlds, food, stories, dances, everything." Zale's eyes sparkled at the idea. That could challenge perceptions, an opportunity to showcase our strengths together. "Exactly." David grinned, buoyed by her enthusiasm. "Let's start planning. We'll weave together traditions from both our cultures, create something beautiful that stands against the norms." Over the next few weeks, they worked tirelessly to prepare for the cultural exchange. David shared human stories, music, and dance while Zale introduced him to Thyronian rituals, each day filled with laughter, creative brainstorming, and the invigorating thrill of possibility. But as the day of the gathering approached, whispers of dissent began to echo through the community. Some Thyronians were apprehensive about the union, believing it was a threat to their traditions and way of life. Rumblings of resistance picked up strength, threatening to overshadow the beauty they were trying to create. On the eve of the exchange, Zale's apprehension began to resurface. She stood on the balcony of her home, gazing out at the stars, feeling the weight of tradition pressing down upon her once again. The thought of backlash from her people gnawed at her. David joined her, sensing her turmoil. "What's on your mind?" "What if they reject us?" she whispered, her voice trembling. "What if everything we've worked for is lost amid their fear of change?" Change is never easy, especially when it challenges long-held beliefs. David stepped closer, resting a hand on her shoulder. "But sometimes it takes courage to face those fears. We cannot control how others will react, but we can control how we respond." Zale turned to him, uncertainty still clouding her expression. "What if I fail them? What if they see me not as a bridge, but as a traitor?" "Then we'll show them that we are more than our origins," David assured her, his voice steady and reassuring. "We will demonstrate that love transcends boundaries." With a deep breath, Zale nodded slowly, determination mixed with trepidation written across her features. "You are right." As night fell, the first guests began arriving. The clearing behind Zale's home was adorned with blending decorations, human lanterns mingling with Thyronian ornamental foliage, a landscape transforming to reflect their unity. Laughter and excitement hung in the air, while David and Zale stood side by side, their hearts racing. But moments later, Zale spotted familiar faces among the crowd, those who had openly questioned their union at the marketplace, apprehension radiating from them as they exchanged whispers. "Remember, we are in this together," David murmured, squeezing Zale's hand. "Let's take this step, one moment at a time." As they greeted their guests, Zale's heart raced. It was time to confront the doubts and build a tapestry of connection, even in the midst of uncertainty. She couldn't falter now. Together, they began their exchange. Each traditional food shared igniting conversations, each story told gradually weaving the threads of understanding. As David shared a human story about love prevailing against the odds, Zale watched her people's expressions. Some softened, some still appeared skeptical, but slowly, barriers began to lower. Zale took a deep breath, her voice steady as she stepped forward, ready to share a Thyronian tale of courage. "We once believed that strength was wielded solely through duty, yet it can also be found in the choice to love openly, no matter the obstacles." As she spoke, Zale sensed the shifting dynamics in the crowd. Some heads nodded, expressions revealing contemplation, acceptance. Maybe they could navigate this storm together, one perhaps carved out by the very connection they were forging. And with each exchange, she felt the heavy shadows begin to lighten, giving way to a possibility of connection that stretched beyond the horizon. The evening wore on, filled with laughter, stories, and the vibrant blending of cultures. As Zale shared her tale of love and courage, she could see the shifting tides in her people's hearts. The collective skepticism began to dissolve as understanding and empathy took root. With every moment David and Zale shared, it became clear that they were painting a new narrative, one where differences were not a barrier but a bridge. The air was charged with anticipation and hope, illuminating the shadows that had once loomed over their bond. As the gathering continued, David moved through the crowd, engaging with both humans and Thyronians alike. He listened intently as stories flowed, discovering nuances of their cultures, each person contributing their unique voice to the tapestry they were weaving. Zale, packed with energy and exhilaration, joined David, watching as people of different backgrounds began to interact more openly. Laughter erupted where once there had been only suspicion. It was a moment of realization, a testament to the healing power of understanding. As the night deepened, David took Zale's hand again, leading her to a quieter corner of the gathering where the sounds of the festival faded into the background. "I think it's working," he said, his eyes sparkling with excitement. "It feels like a dream," Zale replied, awe dancing across her face as she looked at the mingling crowd. "I didn't believe we could inspire this kind of change together." "I believed in us," David said with genuine warmth, "and I knew that love has the power to span divides and shatter conditioning, even if it takes time." Just then, the elder who had first confronted them approached, her expression unreadable. Zale's heart raced. Apprehension danced through her at the thought of facing her community's leader once more. "Zale," the elder began, her tone careful yet inquisitive, "you have shown a determination to forge a path of your own, leading others alongside you. I commend you for your bravery. Many here have opened their hearts to understanding." Zale held her breath as David's grip tightened reassuringly around her. "Still," the elder continued, "the question remains, is this connection enough to endure the trials that may follow?" Zale inhaled deeply, steadying herself. "We do not seek perfection, but authenticity," she replied, her voice bold. "Together, we are building something worth cherishing, no matter the challenges." The elder studied her for a moment longer before a smile broke across her face. "Very well. If you both can face the trials ahead with the same courage you've shown tonight, then perhaps there is hope for our traditions to evolve." Zale's heart soared as the elder stepped back, allowing others around to murmur their agreement and approval. Whispers of encouragement spread like wildfire through the crowd, emboldening those who had remained skeptical only moments before. "That was incredible," David murmured, beaming at Zale. "You transformed their fears into acceptance, just by speaking your truth." "Together," she corrected, leaning in closer, her heart singing at the thought of their shared journey bringing about real change. As the gathering continued, Zale and David made their way through the revelry, immersed in laughter and budding connections. The night felt alive with possibilities, the very air thick with promise and acceptance. Before long, a new song began to play, a blend of human and Thyronian melodies that encapsulated their intertwined futures. David and Zale joined the dance, surrounded by laughter and the joyous beats echoing around them. Zale basked in the flickers of light dancing upon her skin and the warmth of shared stories enveloping her being. In that moment, she realized they all forged a path together, an intricate blend of cultures, hopes, and dreams, unified in celebrating their differences. Yet as the night wore on, another realization pressed upon them. Their journey was just beginning. The challenges ahead would necessitate continued courage and steadfastness, but they were ready to face them, hand in hand, heart to heart. As they danced, David leaned close, his voice barely above a whisper. "No matter what comes, I choose you, Zale." Tears gathered in Zale's eyes, the weight of years of doubt and fear dissolving in the embrace of love and support. "And I choose you," she responded, her heart swelling with hope. At that moment, they both understood that love was not just an ephemeral feeling. It was a journey, a continuous choice to explore, to forge ahead through the complexities of life together. The stars above twinkled down upon them, a thousand witnesses to their union, proclaiming not just the merging of two beings, but the blossoming of a future where love defied expectation and embraced unity. And with each step they took, they etched their legacy upon the winds of change, two hearts forever entwined, dancing towards a new dawn. As the seasons changed and time flowed on, David and Zale continued to nurture their bond and their community, guiding it towards acceptance and love. The cultural exchange they'd initiated laid the groundwork for understanding between humans and Thyronians, each festival a reverberation of their shared journey. Over the years, They saw more beings daring to break the chains of tradition, choosing instead to honor their individuality while embracing those they loved. Love had become a powerful force of transformation, binding their worlds closer together, crafting a vibrant tapestry interwoven with trust and kinship. And as David and Zale stood hand in hand, looking out over the horizon at the setting sun, they felt their hearts entwined not only by love, but by the legacy they had built together, one that would continue to inspire the generations to come.